Good day, dear friends. We are in Smolensk. For the first time in this beautiful, ancient Russian city, which was once called the Shield of Russia. In this city, every stone breathes history. The beautiful Dnieper River, one of the pillars of Russian Orthodoxy, the Smolensk Assumption Cathedral, a monument of Russian defensive architecture, the Smolensk Fortress Wall. We came for the weekend, so there is clearly not enough time for a thorough exploration of the city and its surroundings. Even taking into account the fact that this is not a metropolis at all, it's still not enough. But we will definitely have time for a pleasant stroll through the historic city center, both on our own and as part of a guided tour. And, of course, we will certainly have time in the evening to go to a performance at the Smolensk Drama Theater named after Griboyev. The tickets were bought back home, before the trip. You'll agree, all this sounds like a pretty good plan. And I have also prepared for you, dear viewer, a short historical excursion about Smolensk. I tried to condense a huge amount of information so that in just a few minutes, while we walk through this ancient Russian city, I can introduce you to what you might call the minimum historical background that every tourist who has already been to Smolensk, or is just planning to go, simply needs to know. Smolensk is one of the oldest cities in Russia. The exact time of its foundation is not definitively known. In the undated portion of the primary chronicle Tale of Bygone Years, Smolensk is first mentioned as the center of the tribal union of the Kriviches. In the Ustyug Chronicle of the 16th century, the city was mentioned under the year 863, when Askold and Dir, the Kievan princes, on a campaign from Novgorod to Tsargrad, Constantinople, bypassed the city because it was heavily fortified and populous. And in the primary chronicle it is recorded that in 882, Smolensk was annexed to the old Russian state by Prince Oleg.
Года это полное название памятника, хотя в народе его порой просто зовут памятник с орлами, да.
The century preceding the Horde invasion was a period of flourishing for Smolensk. The city occupied an area of 115 hectares, on which there were about 8,000 houses with a population of approximately 40,000 people. In terms of the number of stone churches built at the turn of the 12th and 13th centuries, Smolensk surpassed any other city in Russia. The opinion of Smolensk residents regarding the television tower located next to the fortress wall near the Bubalaika Tower, one of the small blind quadrangular towers of the Smolensk fortress wall, is ambiguous. The tower was built in 1957 for the 40th anniversary of the October Revolution. Its appearance marked the beginning of the television era in Smolensk, despite the fact that the tower undoubtedly occupies a fairly significant place in the city's history. Many of its residents, and in my opinion quite justifiably, believe that this bulky radio-technical structure spoils the beautiful view and disrupts the historical appearance of the ancient architectural ensemble. During the Mongol invasion, the city itself did not suffer, but many regions of the principality were devastated. Smolensk lost its significance, gradually falling into dependence on the neighboring rising Grand Duchy of Lithuania. In 1449, a treaty was concluded between the Grand Duke of Lithuania Casimir and the Grand Duke of Moscow Vasily the Dark, under which Moscow renounced Smolensk and the Smolensk lands forever. And in 1508, Smolensk became the center of the Smolensk voivodeship of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. But already in 1514, Russian troops captured the city and returned it to the rule of the Grand Duke of Moscow. We stopped by the monument to Mikhail Glinka. The great Russian composer was born in the Smolensk province in 1804. The monument's unveiling in 1885 was attended by such celebrities as Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky, Balakirev, and Glazunov. Music is always playing near the monument, excerpts from Glinka's works. In 1609, taking advantage of the weakening of the Russian state during the time of troubles, the army of Sigismund III, King of Poland and Grand Duke of Lithuania, began the siege of Smolensk, and soon the city came under the rule of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. And only in 1654, Smolensk, once again occupied by the Russian army, finally became a Russian city in the center of the Smolensk province. By decree of Catherine II, Russification began in the Smolensk region. Also, among the historically significant events in the city's history, one cannot fail to mention the famous battle outside the walls of Smolensk in August 1812 between the Russian army and Napoleon's army. During the battle, both sides lost over 20,000 men. The Russians retreated, and Napoleon captured the city, which was engulfed in flames. Also, during the Great Patriotic War, in July 1941, the Battle of Smolensk took place, a battle that was highly decisive for the entire course of the Great Patriotic War, which significantly delayed the advance of German troops on Moscow. The city was occupied by German forces and was liberated from the Nazi occupation only in September 1943. So, very briefly, just skimming the surface, as they say, we, dear viewers, have run through the eventful history of the ancient Russian city of Smolensk. I found the story of the legendary Smolensk traffic policeman, Viktorin Kuritsyn, very endearing and touching. A monument to him stands at the intersection of Bolshaya Sovetskaya Street and Lenin Street. Kuritsyn took up his post under the clock on September 25, 1943, the very next day after Smolensk was liberated from the Nazi invaders, and he did not leave it until his retirement, for a full 12 years. Over time, the residents of Smolensk became so accustomed to the policemen under the clock that they began to pass notes through Kuritsyn for their loved ones and dear ones. Those running late for dates, those who forgot to warn someone, those who rescheduled a meeting, everyone brought him messages. The policeman even had to sew numerous small pockets on the inside of his greatcoat to make it more convenient to store the many notes and to ensure that not a single one got lost. And people were very grateful to him. In the end, as you can see, people's gratitude took the form of a bronze monument, a monument to heartfelt sensitivity and kindness. A trip to Smolensk would be incomplete without visiting the Assumption Cathedral. Our wonderful guide, Tamara, saved it as the cherry on top of the cake of our tour. The Smolensk Assumption Cathedral, or the Cathedral of the Dormition of the Most Holy Theotokos, is the main Orthodox church of the city and the cathedral of the Smolensk metropolis. It is located in the center of Smolensk, on Cathedral Hill. The cathedral was built at the turn of the 17th and 18th centuries in memory of the courageous defense of Smolensk against the Poles in 1609. It was built on the site of an older cathedral, built earlier by Vladimir Monomakh in 1101. Upon gaining possession of the Smolensk and Suzdal lands, Vladimir Monomakh simultaneously began the construction of the Dormition of the Most Holy Theotokos cathedrals in Smolensk and Suzdal. The stone cathedral founded by Vladimir Monomakh in Smolensk remained the only stone church in the city for nearly half a century. The construction of this very cathedral marked the beginning of monumental architecture in the Smolensk Principality. The main altar of the Assumption Cathedral is consecrated in honor of the Dormition of the Theotokos. The iconostasis and interiors are maintained in the traditions of the Kievan Baroque style. After the excursion, we stopped for a bite to eat at a Smolensk version of McDonald's, called Russian Court Ruski Dvor. I can say, we simply found ourselves in a fairy tale. Before placing our order, we spent some time looking around us with admiration and our mouths agape. Just look at how much creativity and imagination was invested in the design of this cafe. The food, by the way, also turned out to be very tasty. And a worthy conclusion to this eventful day was a visit to the Smolensk Drama Theater. We watched the lyrical comedy Scales Vizi with great pleasure, a performance based on a play by the wonderful writer Yevgeny Grishkovets. And we, of course, wholeheartedly recommend this production to you. Well, for now, dear friends, give a like if you feel that this video deserves one. Write what you found interesting or not interesting, and why not. Subscribe to the channel Pictures from the Hinterland. Peace and love.
Мира и любви.